Hello there YouTube, this is Brian, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create your very own tic-tac-toe game in Visual Basic. This version of the game is only going to be playable by players that are sitting at the same computer. In the future, I'm hoping to be able to make this an online multiplayer game. I don't think that should be too hard. I've been thinking about it and designing it in my head. So if you'd also like to see that, if you think that's cool, just subscribe to my channel. It should be right below this video. Just click subscribe and you will be notified when that version of this game is out, and then you can make it yourself. I'll make a tutorial for that. But for now, let's just stick to the same computer's tic-tac-toe game, this version. What I have here is my forms design. I have a header label, it shows the game. I have my 9 buttons for the playing of the game, I guess. I have a group box here. It has the game controls. It shows player 1 score and player 2 score. It has a refresh game button, and at the bottom here I have a label. It says player 1's turn, and then the symbol of that player. That's just it make life easier for the players, I guess. It shows whose turn it is. Let me show you the names of all of the buttons and the controls here, because they will have to be identical on your computer in order for it to work, for the code to work anyway. This, I just have button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. This, I called it player's turn, LBL. I am a organized freak, so I make everything have names, except for these buttons, because there's nothing else I could really name them. This, I called it game controls group box, GRP box. This is player 1's score. I called this player 1's real score, and basically the same thing for player 2, player 2's real score. This is called refresh game BTN, and this is called header LBL. That is the basic design of this form. You could pause the video and make this yourself. Remember, you have to make the names of all the elements the same as I have them, or change them in the code that you make. It's up to you. I like to keep it all organized, but yeah. Alright, now on to making the code. Hopefully you've created this design okay. To access the code, you just right-click the form and click on View Code. Oh, I've started this already. Alright. Okay, and it should look like this. Public class main form. Oh yes, and I called the form mainform.vb. Forgot to mention that. So what you're probably going to want to do first, I'm going to create my own little, my own sub here. I'm going to call it private, if I can spell private right. Private sub, disable all buttons. That's just going to make life easier in the future when we're coding, because all of these buttons will have to, well, you'll see in the future. This sub right here will just make life easier. What you're going to want to put in here is, let me copy and paste it. It's just, you're going to disable all of the buttons, 1 to 9. Just enabled equals false. That's that sub. And for the next sub, let's create for the check for win. 1 second here, let me open up a notepad file so that you can see here what's going on. Okay, I've opened up a notepad file here just so you could see. I have created a list here of all of the ways that a player could win. Each of the buttons in these rows have to be either an X or an O, and if they're all the same, like if button 1, 2, and 3 is all X, 1, 2, and 3, they're all X, then that means that player 1 wins the game because he got 3 in a row. Where'd that go? No. Minimized. There we go. Okay. That's back up. Same with all the rest of these in the rows. Basically how I'm going to tell the program to interpret that is I'm going to create another sub here. I'm going to call it check for win player 1, or 1, I guess. Private sub check for win 1. And this will be called out, this event will be called out when a player presses a button, player 1 presses a button. It will check to see if the player's won. It will check all of these to see if any of them all equal the same thing. There will be several different commands here, so I'm just going to copy and paste it really quick. I'm going to put the code in a link in the description so that you don't have to just sit there and type it. Be right back. Alright guys, and I am back with my code. Basically I'm just going to go over it really quick. What I have is check for win 1, which when it's activated, or when I tell it to go to here, tell the code to go to here, it checks to see if player 1 has won anything. So here I have if button 1 dot text equals x and button 2 equals x and button 3 equals x. So all three of these have to equal x. Then that means player 1 wins. So message box, and what I have here is player 1's real score. This is player 1's real score. This line of code, it will add 1 to whatever this is already. And then we'll disable all of the buttons. Yeah, I'm going to show you how that's easier, because when I type this in there, it calls this that we made up here, this sub, and if we didn't have had this, we would have had to have all of these in wherever single one of these is, so it would have been much longer code. So it shrunk it down a little bit. Basically, I did the exact same thing for player 2, except it checks for O, checks for the letter O instead of X. So all three of these, if all three of these are O, then it will message box player 2 wins, and it will add 1 to this score. And again, it will disable all the buttons, so that's nothing different. So that's what I have right now. Again, this will be downloadable in the description. I'll just post a link to it on my website, and then you could just download the code. Actually, I might just post the whole project, so you don't have to do anything. Or you can take the effort and make it yourself, and then you can say you made it. But what we have to do next is we have to make it so that when a player presses this button, it determines which player it is by going down to this label and seeing the text. So if it's player 1's turn, if this label equals player 1's turn, if the text of that equals player 1's turn, then it will the program will know that it's player 1's turn. And if they press a button, then that's when it will check to see if player 1 wins. It will call this event. If this is player 2's turn, and the player clicks a button, it will call check for win for player 2. So it's all based upon this label. This is why this label has to be here. So you have to double click on each of these buttons, and it will create the little beginning pieces of code for you, which makes life easier, because I haven't even memorized how to do that, because I don't have to. It'll do it for me. Most of these are going to be exactly the same. Actually, they will be exactly the same, now that I think about it. Here, let me copy this over. I have my little cheat sheet here. It's everything I typed up before. Alright, copy. This is what I have. Okay, so what I typed here is button, this is button 1, the sub for button 1, so let me just change those. Okay, okay, I see what I did. So if player's turn label dot text equals player 1's turn. Oops, I'm good at typing. Okay, so what happens here basically is when the user presses this button, it determines by this label whether it's player 1's turn or player 2's turn. And if it's player 1's turn, then it will do the check. It will add the X here to this button, add the X because it's player 1's turn. It will check to see if when they press this, they won. So like if these two were already pressed for X, and when they press this one, it will check to see if they won. And then it will change this label to be player 2's turn. so that it doesn't keep checking player 1. Yeah, it changes. And then if it's not player 1's turn, if this does not read player 1's turn when they press this button, that means that it's player 2's turn. So it will make the button text O. It will check to see if player 2 won because of this move. And it will change this label back to player 1's turn. And then it will disable the button so that you can't continually press it. All of these have to be basically the exact same, except for this button 1 things here. That will have to be whatever button you set it to be. Here, let me show you. You can just copy and paste this, and then change this to be button 2. Button 2, and button 2. So again, it will check to see when you press this button, if it's player 1's turn. If it will, then it will add X, and check to see if they won. And the same thing for player 2. I'm just going to copy and paste all of these. I will be right back. Hello there, I am back. I have copied and pasted every single, that line of code into every single button that we press. So every time they press a button, it will check the user and then see if they won. And if they didn't win, then it will just change the text and just do nothing. Disable a button so you can't repress it. So that's basically it. We've made all of these work. We've made this work. We made the scores work. The only thing we haven't done is the refresh game button. So just double click on that, and it will pop up again with the beginning of this. Basically, what we want to happen is we want all of these to be reset. We want all of them to be enabled again, because when a player presses them, it disables them. And we want all of the text to be nothing. So we just do this. We go button 1 dot enabled equals true, and button 1 dot text equals nothing. So that will basically clear it out. The scores will stay the same, and it will refresh it for a new game. I have copied and pasted it in my cheat window here, so it's already done for me. Looks like I did it opposite. I changed the text and then I made it enabled. Doesn't really matter, it does the same thing. And I think that is all that we needed for the code. Yeah, let me test it out here. So, as you see, I'll press... Oh, wait a minute. What did I do wrong? Why is it making that... Oh! Let me see. Oh, I know why. Okay, because I am pretty stupid, and what I had happen is I had it detect for player 1's turn, for this label to say player 1's turn, but I forgot that I was thought I was being clever and I was adding the symbol of the player 1, and I didn't put that in there, so I have to go back and change that to be just player 1's turn and not have the symbol there. Sorry about that. I forgot that I had done that. I don't want to go back and change all of this code, so I'm not going to. So now it'll just say player 1's turn. It won't have the symbol, but it should work now. Yeah, see, because it knew it said player 1's turn, so it made it an X. O, back to player 1, X, O, X. Player 1 wins because it knows that these were all in a line. And it added that there. Added 1. And then you click refresh game and it resets them all. Yes, and the loser gets to start first, which is, I thought was kind of cool. You can change that if you don't want to do that. You can change that by adding into here every time a player wins, all of these events here. So if a player wins, that you can make it so that it changes back to say player 1's turn or player 2's turn, whichever one you want. That's how that works. Yeah, this was actually kind of entertaining. I've never made this before, so that's kind of cool. Player 2 wins. See, it just keeps adding it over and over again. So that is how you make a tic-tac-toe game. Again, I'm really hoping that I'll be able to create this or make this online multiplayer version. So do yourself a favor, and do me a favor actually as well. Click the subscribe button below this video, and then you'll be notified as soon as that version of this game comes out, the tutorial, how to make it.